this is what I want. I want the first 17 minutes of the workout to be incredibly painful as it beats my body into shape. This is what my body and my cardiovascular system deserve. A sound thrashing every day at 2:30. So there I am, trying to raise the entire pulse rate of the gymnasium. I want the whole building working faster. And I see people around, they see me, they're like, oh, okay, I'm picking it up. They're like, what? Come on, let's all die together! And so, now that my heart is in my throat and I think every breath is my last, about 17 minutes in, the workout changes when the music changes and it goes from the Ramones into Slayer. Now, oh, you've heard them? Now, if you try to do any practical task with Slayer as your soundtrack, be careful because there's a good chance someone's going to bleed. Put Slayer in your car and you go to the market or do any other sundry task, you come back with the cops following you, you're pulled from your car. Do you know what you did? Huh? Do you know what you did? And they make you look under your car to see the 3 dead children that you've been dragging for a mile and a half. If you ran them over, you went right through the intersection, but you've been listening to Slayer. You have no memory of this, nor do you give a fuck. You have to be careful with Slayer, and you've heard me many nights on different stages in your fair city over decades warning you to be careful with Slayer, like they're usually careful with your angel dust and your tequila. Use in moderation. You remember me telling you that. Anyway, when you work out to Slayer, you try to break the machine that you're on. I can break these handles off and beat someone to fucking death with it. And I have no idea that I am yelling the lyrics at the top. Kind of dowling along as I'm running mile after mile. I have no idea that I'm like, God hates us all! I only know this when I see everyone stop. Because I yelled through their headphones. And little earplugs, and they're all like... And on a better day, I pull my headplugs out and go, I'm so sorry everyone, I was acting out, I'm so sorry, I apologize to everyone. God, if there is one, he, she, it, the force, it does not hate you, not remotely. I'm sure it's a benevolent force that is okay with homosexuality and the mosque and the citadel and everything else, and that's why he, she, it, the force grows weed and has zydeco music, just to show you that we can all get along. And I really hate the separatism and all the division and all the meanness that comes with different religions. My God greater than your God, my God can kick your God's ass, which I think is a really bad idea. And the idea of the song God hates us all, which I kind of disagree with, for your sake, because I really don't care that much, but I think it'd be a really wonderful thing if all the world could sing that song together and realize that is the one thing that we have in common, that maybe this collective God really does have it in for all of us. We just stop ignoring this force and just really realize that our lives are happening now, and that there's no afterlife, that we really have to be responsible for what is happening in our life right now, and be good to each other, and take care of each other. When our cities flood, we must be there for each other. When someone is in the ditch, we must pull them out. When they're hungry, we must give them half of our sandwich. And I know that sounds like the teachings from one of your books I find in hotel rooms. I'm just saying, this should be common sense. This should be common civic decency. You do not need a book extolling these things to know the right thing to do. So I'm sorry, everyone. Back on our bikes. Let's get in good shape for this year. Shall we? But instead of saying something like that, I look around and say, I didn't say you can fucking stop! I'm fucking get back on the thing. So I'm working away, having a good old workout, and the Slayer's making my mind into putty. And I look over at the row of fitness machines in front of me to see a bunch of butts running away from me. I feel like the greyhound chasing the rabbit. And so there's a female ahead of me running, and next to her is the screen from her video monitor that they attach to so many of those machines now, and she's watching something. And I'm watching what she's watching with Slayer as my soundtrack. And it was at that moment, ding, a light bulb went on in my head, and I had a mini revelation, a small epiphany. Because I've done a lot of thinking about why some countries and cultures all over the world hate America. Why do these countries hate hate America. And because I don't hate America, I think, like I said, poorly managed, but we're a nice bunch of folks at the end of the day. Things will get better. I beg for your patience. But some people, death to America. America's the great Satan. Well, why do you think that? And so many pundits and politicians and professors and people have weighed in. Well, they hate our freedom. Nah, keep on working on that one. And so I've read some books on this. I've listened to different people's theories. Some people say, well, America has a military presence in over 150 countries in the world. And sometimes the American forces rape some of the locals and do no time. And that causes a little bit of disharmony and a little bit of anger. It could very well be that America takes its big old dick and stirs the morning coffee of the world's economy every single day. And a lot of countries find that to be a little bit enervating. Also, a little teeny tiny group of people suck up 1/4 of the world's energy. A lot of people think that's a bit rude and destructive. Also, when America goes like this, other countries in the world have to go, ow! And maybe some countries are fucking sick of it. And that could be why there's some hatred and animosity exacted upon America. And I've entertained all of those geostrategic and geopolitical notions in my mind for many hours as I crisscross the world sitting on airplanes. Because I'd like to know, because I'd like to kind of start working to undo that. And so while I was watching what this woman was watching over her shoulder in a small gymnasium in Edinburgh, I realized at that moment all of that stuff that I've been thinking about for years was nothing but intellectual twaddle. That which Jimi Hendrix called blah blah woof woof. And I realized at this moment I had come to the conclusion that I now knew at least 90% of the reason why there's animosity exacted towards America. And this is going to sound very, very linear and oversimplified, but I think I'm onto something. What's 90% of the reason why there's anger at America? Get ready, folks. Buckle your seatbelts. Mariah Carey. For some of you, that feels like a fair stretch, right? Like, come on, Henry, nothing's that simple. Sometimes it is. And so I was watching this video, and it's basically a day in Mariah Carey's life, where she leaves her castle, and she goes down a driveway made of the backs of Nubian slaves, and she gets into a fleet of Escalades or some kind of protective vehicle, and she goes to have a normal day, and the paparazzi following her. Mariah, we love you, we love you, we love you. And she does an in-store, she hugs someone. I love you, Mariah, I love you too, targeted demographic. Here's okay, don't touch me a lot. And she gets back to her home, and the Brinks trucks are driving by, dropping millions of pounds of gold bullion into her driveway. We have your $90 gajillion in cash and gold booty, Miss Carey. Where do you want to put it? In the corner with all the other world's riches. Duh. And shows her online buying Paraguay, and you look in the backyard and they build a pyramid for her for the afterlife. And then she goes back to the song, alone in her room, just a mere slip of a corporate entity. Just a lonely can of Coke on a shelf. No one really understands me, this waif of a girl, this mere billionairess, as I suffer the slings and arrows. People love me all over the world. You have no idea what it's like to be loved and so paid all the time. I saw that and I said, fuck it. I'm going to break something. I'm going to fuck something up. I was so pissed off. I was going to litter that afternoon. I was going to take a gum wrapper and drop him on the ground. I was so I was going to dial a wrong number and ask if they had Prince Albert in a can. That's how pissed off I was. And I said, no wonder, no wonder. People all over the world see that and they go, oh, America, they gots to go. And if it's not that, it's easily the Disney Channel.